The unique tragedy of narcissistic abuse that makes it unlike any other type of abuse or traumatizing experiences, and why, as devastatingly painful as it is to endure, it is just as difficult, if not more, to start even recognizing that you're being abused for so long, to walk away from once you finally do, and or heal, is because the culprit behind what truly makes this tragedy unique behaves in the same manner, much like the emotional wounds that are inflicted, in that regardless of how deep the emotional cut is, it still will remain invisible to the naked eye, just as this phenomenon, skating by below the radar, becomes the silent killer, quietly sabotaging and invading every aspect of your life without you even realizing it was a suspect, let alone the team captain of the sabotage squad. Because you see, narcissists don't just distort your perception of reality, sense of self, or strategically go about robbing you of the most precious resource we as humans have, just so they can be certain that they can carry on spending theirs freely, frolicking around and playing Spin Master of the universe over yonder on planet delusionally are we. Oh no. The repeated and continuous unleashings of psychological warfare that they relentlessly chuck at your head every opportunity they can as an all-encompassing attack on your sense of self, your autonomy, and to keep you trapped, confused, and doubting your own sanity. To your brain, this hot mess of cyclically unpredictable brain fuckery begins to feel like what you have on your hands here is more to that of some kind of demonic Doc Brown than Satan himself, in that this prolonged abuse starts to warp and distort not just your perception of what's real and what's not, but how your mind perceives time itself, as well as diminishes your sense of urgency, and why time distortion is single-handedly the most devastating and quite possibly overlooked aspect to narcissistic abuse in its entirety is because it fundamentally changes the way that you experience life, clouding the lines between the past, present, and future, creating this state where the concept of finite time and the ability to appreciate the preciousness within every moment fades into the background as the days blur into weeks, the months into years, until eventually life begins to feel like one long, ongoing, exhausting day where you are doing whatever the fuck you can to survive and stomach getting through each passing moment. No longer is life something that you're living, most definitely not qualitatively, as you're always waiting for a war or wondering when the next shoe is gonna drop, tiptoeing around them as to try your damnedest not to wake the beastly demon within. And just this constant worry in and of itself is enough to put a shit stain on even the good days, or those rare moments when demon beast seems to be laying low, as you know that it won't be long before it reawakens, more ferocious and hungry than ever after its little nap, and that your pain and suffering are what it fully intends to snack on. Wash, rinse, repeat, over and over and over. And it's from within this insidious, repetitive, cycling of unpredictability style of nature that narcissistic abuse is, in combination with their constant manipulation, gaslighting, insults, and blame shifting, blowing all sorts of smoke up your ass with empty apologies and promises to change, only to turn around and repeat the same hurtful and hateful behaviors, monopolizing your time, controlling and dictating your day-to-day life, constantly demanding your attention, invalidating your feelings, discrediting your achievements, programming you to prioritize their wants, their needs, their desires, pulling you away from your loved ones and hobbies, eroding your sense of safety, and evoking your rights to privacy, your rights to relax, and the right to even feel comfortable in your own skin, and brainwashing you to feel like you're unworthy, unwanted, not enough, can't survive on your own or without them. That makes the kind of time distortion that stems from this lethal cocktail of cluster fucked upness not just unique to narcissistically abusive situations, but to uniquely damaging and difficult to overcome, because there's no way to see it coming or to prevent it from happening. As like any other trauma response, this happens automatic at the subconscious level, allowing it to quietly sabotage and infest every aspect of your life, even long after the abuse stops or the relationship ends, so to speak, as it legitimately aids in helping to rewire your brain, changing the way that you process thoughts, maladapts your behaviors and instincts, and alters the way that you experience life. Because over time, this abuse conditions one to remain in this constant state of fight or flight, and these high levels of stress and anxiety now becoming your baseline. And our brain, always looking for ways to conserve energy, starts to rewire and adapt to this new baseline that you develop. However, what makes these survival modes different with narcissistic abuse, you don't just get stuck in survival mode, but you get stuck in all four modes of survival at the same time. And as a result, our coping mechanisms, instincts, and adapted behaviors become even more maladaptive. It starts diminishing our sense of urgency, giving you no motivation, no focus on surviving the moment. Past, present, and future all begin to blur, because you can't look back and try to make sense of anything, as all of it was based off of nothing but lies, fraud, and deceit, not to mention painful. And well, you can't exactly plan for the future, because due to this learned hopelessness and helplessness, it literally feels out of reach. And the present feels like a never-ending crisis, leading to why many survivors start developing habits such as chronic procrastination and lateness, delaying life decisions, career opportunities, pursuing your dreams, and or relationships, avoiding responsibilities and adhere to schedules or commitments, throwing your time management skills completely out the window, become extremely poor in being able to judge the duration of a task, consciously enhances our feelings of inadequacy and feeling like we truly are incapable of managing our own lives, driving you deeper into isolation, missed milestones, and connections with others that could have brought love, support, or friendship, all stemming directly from the narcissist influence. They've created this prison in your mind where you no longer see time as this precious resource. Instead, life just has become something that you endure and remain the silent killer until you acknowledge what's going on, even though you may still associate them with the abuse after the relationship's over or through the healing process, but without recognizing that this time distortion has taken place and the culprit behind them being associated or attributed to the wrong underlying factor. This continues to evade and sabotage your life. And the only way to be able to heal and on from it is truly through awareness. And though we can't prevent these trauma responses from happening or undo the horrendous experiences that were endured in these abusive relationships, nor is there any magic treatment or cure, that doesn't mean that you still can't heal and experience life, not being so tightly controlled by this distorted perception of time and unable to fully open your heart to another human being, because these deplorable meat sacks robbed you of your self-leadership or sense of having any agency or control of being in charge of your own experiences, and why this road to healing is paved by taking actions to rebuild and reestablish ownership of your body, mind, and soul that those evil fuckers had no right to take from you. And that means feeling free to know what you know and to feel what you feel without having to become overwhelmed by the fear, self-doubt, uncertainty, or shame. And the best way to go about doing these things won't cost you $1 and can do in the comfort of your own home, to which one is simply writing down when you're being triggered into these maladaptive behaviors, such as procrastinating, turning down an invitation, or trying to fit in one more task before get out the door to your next appointment. As just this action and task of writing triggers your prefrontal cortex and snaps you out of survival mode, as well as reading and rereading positive affirmations, especially doing so out loud, as this is like killing two birds with one stone, because you have more muscle memory when you're verbally expressing something. Using breathing exercises and humming to reduce your stress, decreasing your cortisol levels, and making it easier for your hippocampus being able to differentiate better between the past, present, and future. That in turn won't send off the danger message to your amygdala to activate survival mode, and hence breaking the trauma loop, making it easier for you to then be able to use logic and reason when you're making decisions and be more consciously aware of these triggers and these maladaptive behaviors that you have developed due to this time distortion and lack or loss of urgency that once again will start giving you motivation and be more inclined to want to reach these achievements and see the preciousness within each moment, and that these people have already taken so much of yours already, and they do not deserve or are worth but another second of it, because they don't give a single fuck about anyone but themselves. So fight for you. Get back your life and live the life that you were supposed to and experience it the way that you should, because there is no crystal ball to tell us how long we have left on this earth, and you deserve to live each day to the fullest. So fight for you. Focus on you. Fuck the narcissist, or whatever you want to call them.